Welcome to this episode of Martial Truth. What's important? So, I was thinking about some things recently. Obviously, as I get older, I try to put some things in perspective. All right. And one of the things I was thinking about is do I put too much emphasis on the martial arts in my life? Like, what's important? What's really important? So years ago, I was asked a question by a fellow martial artist. Said to me, "What do you want? What's your legacy?" He said to me, and that was the question. What's your legacy? And without hesitation, my response was, "My children are my legacy." And he says, "Well, what about the martial arts? Like, what's your legacy going to be in the martial arts?" And my response to him was, I don't know what my legacy is going to be in the martial arts. Because frankly, that's not for me to decide, okay? So, I don't know. And frankly, I'll be dead. So it's not like it's going to upset me or anything because I'm not going to be here when people decide on that, How do I know what my legacy is going to be in the martial arts? And frankly, it's not something I even concern myself with. Like this channel. This channel started in 2009, as I said to myself, I had all these VHS tapes and it had a lot of historically important martial artists on it. And I said, you know what? This has to be preserved. And so I just started pulling the video clips and putting them up. And, I was surprised at the response. I mean, I got response, and I still get them to this day where someone will send me an email, "Sensei, thank you so much for posting a video of so-and-so. It was my teacher's teacher. I never got to see him do anything, but now because of your channel, I've got to see my teacher's teacher do a kata or some fighting techniques or whatever it is. And thank you so much." And, when I get one of those, it makes me feel good, right? I'm like, okay, it was worth doing the channel, right? And I've gotten a lot of those. I've even gotten them as far away as senior teachers in Japan. When I post something, I'll get an email saying, "My sensei in Japan saw the video and he remembers filming them, but he never saw the video. Thank you so much," right? And what I did with that particular teacher is I actually made a digital copy and sent it to him in Japan, so he'd have a copy for himself. All right. I mean, on occasion I get things where people complain about the channel or whatever, and I don't really let that bother me. I don't care, right? But, some of us take what we do, meaning the martial arts, we take ourselves a little too serious, all right? And I've seen this all over the place where, I see senior dons talking to a junior don like they're garbage, like they're almost their serf, or they're toady. They're told what to do and they do it. And it's funny, being in Okinawa a lot and being in Japan a lot, I haven't really experienced that. I think that if you're attaching your self-importance or your self-worth to your dan rank, I think you have a problem. All right. It's great that I have these dan grades, but there's other arts I do where there are no certificates. Okay, so no certificates. So what am I attaching my self-worth to? Well, I don't attach my self-worth to anything within the martial arts. All right. It's important that if we get caught up in all the BS that comes along sometimes with the martial arts, the politics, and the rank and everything else. Well, why did he get promoted? Why didn't I get promoted? He's this, and this guy starts his own association because he's not happy with the association he was in because they wouldn't promote him. And all these things that we start to get involved in with the martial arts that are just a complete waste of time. All right. I've been in plenty of organizations, some I've been in forever and won't be leaving them. Others I left for different reasons. Okay. And association's only as good as the person running it. And what I've discovered in almost 47 years now is that if the association becomes about money, people won't stay in it. All right. So again, why are we doing martial arts? What's our motivation? What's important? Well, for me, what's important is my own personal journey, the training, the physical movement. Okay. Now, as I'm getting older, obviously health is an important aspect, keeping myself in shape. For me, what's important in the martial arts for me is being able to teach it, push it forward to another generation. So hopefully after I'm gone, the arts I teach will continue, and I'm hoping I can help with that process. All right. I'm hoping through the channel I leave something behind that maybe somebody watches one of my videos and says, oh, well, that looks pretty good. I'm going to try that or work on that. And just hope that, that some of the stuff I do is important to you. But understand, I'm not sitting around worry about if it's important to you. I do things because I like to. I do the podcast because I like it. All right. Didn't think I would when someone first suggested to me to do it, but I'm enjoying it. Some people seem to like it. I'm sure other people don't like it, and that's okay. All right. Again, one of my senior black belts in Isshinryu Karate once said to me, what we do here is very, very important. And I looked at her and I said, you mean karate? And she said, yes, sensei. This is very important what we do. So my response to her was, to who? And she looked at me and she goes, well, it's really important. I said, well, how is it important? And she was having trouble answering. And I looked at her and I said, with all due respect, the far majority of the world thinks what we do is ridiculous. They look at us putting on these outfits and wrapping these belts around our waist, and they think it's foolish and they think it's silly. Of course it's important to us because we know what the martial arts gives us. But if you haven't been exposed to the martial arts, if you haven't trained in the martial arts and you're an outsider looking in, you're like, boy, that's a little weird. They wear these outfits and they wrap these belts around. They have these colored belts, right? And they're working with these ancient weapons and they're working on punching and kicking. Like, what's the point of all this? Like, I don't get it, And I'm sure there's people like me. I see people do CrossFit, and I shake my head because I don't think it's the healthiest form of exercise. But God bless them, they're in 100 times better shape than I am, right? But it's not for me. But again, people that are into CrossFit, they think it's pretty important. So it's okay for you to think that what you do is important and to take pride in what we do as martial artists. What's not okay is you think the rest of the world has to think what you do is important. Well, I'm a 9th degree black belt. Do you realize what that means? Do you understand how important that is? Frankly, to someone that's not in the martial arts world, they're going to look at you like you're nuts. Okay? Because frankly, if you're bragging to someone not in the martial arts world that you're a 9th Dan, 8th Dan, 10th Dan, 100th Dan, whatever it is you are, okay? You got a bit of a problem, all right? Years ago, I remember an article that appeared in Black Belt magazine. And it was a monthly column that Dave Lowry used to write. And he wrote this column, and he talked about the problems with using martial arts as your means of self-gratification. And what he said was, Joe Schmo has a mediocre job. And Joe Schmo is really good at his job. But it's a mediocre job. He doesn't think it's that important, whatever the job is. To him, he's not really getting gratification. His ego is not being gratified. He felt he should have been, more accomplished. But then Joe Schmo ties a black belt around his waist twice a week. And he goes down to the dojo, and now he's Sensei Joe Schmo. Umpteenth degree black belt. And he's teaching a room full of people who are hanging on his every word. And they're calling him Sensei or Master or Shihan or whatever title you want to pick that people misuse and don't use right? And now for those 2 nights a week, his ego is gratified. He's like, look at me. I'm the sensei. Look at how these people look at me. They think I'm a god, right? And this is a problem. And those of you that have been martial arts long enough know you've seen plenty of guys like this. I know I have. All right. It becomes dangerous and it's unhealthy. So when I first went to Okinawa and trained with Master Shimabuku, I asked him what I should call him, and he said sensei. And I said, okay. And he looked at me and said, Michael, you're a sensei and I'm a sensei too. And he pointed at me and he said, you're knee dan, I'm 10th dan. We both need to practice. Right? And that made me take a step back, because that's not the way my first instructor was. And I said to myself, okay, right? And, I've tried to live like that. Like, I never think I'm that good. I've never thought I was that good. I'm constantly working to get better. And if I had $1 for every time someone in the martial arts told me how wonderful I was, forget it. I'd be loaded, all right? But I don't take any of that serious because I can't. That's just noise. That's someone telling me, oh, sensei, you're fantastic. Oh, that thing you did was great. Oh, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your thoughts. But that never goes into my head because I have to go back and work on things. I have things to work on. And I say all the time, I'm going to die never having trained in every martial art I wanted to learn and never having gotten to the point I wanted to get to. And that's one of the things I do. And that's why you see a lot of martial arts people, as they get higher rank, all of a sudden the weight starts going on. Because the rank goes to the head. And now they're going to stand around and count. And now they're only going to teach and they're not going to train anymore. I refuse to be one of those people. I didn't like the way those people acted as I was coming up through the ranks. I still don't like the way they act, and I'm not going to be that way. When I'm approached at a seminar, if someone reaches out for me, sometimes I'm slow to respond, but I always try to respond back. If someone approaches me at a seminar with a question, I try to take the time to answer it. Regardless, whether it's a child or an adult, whether it's a white belt, a black belt, it makes no difference. I try to take the time, okay? I've often said, people will come in and they'll say to me, what should I call you? So, like I teach Chinese and Japanese and Okinawan art. So, I say, well, most of the people here call me sensei. Go, well, I'm only studying Tai Chi with you. Like, shouldn't I call you Shifu? Okay, if you want to call me Shifu, you can do that. But if you call me sensei, I really don't care. And, my thought always was, if you demand someone to call you something, I don't know that that's a good idea. And when I introduce myself to people, like people come into the school, I never say, hi, I'm Sensei Calandra. I never say that. I always say, hi, I'm Mike. Or hi, I'm Mike Calandra. And, a lot of my Tai Chi students call me sensei because they hear everybody else calling me sensei. And people are just into the habit of it. So some people have criticized me online. Oh, it's a Chinese martial art. They shouldn't be calling you sensei. If this is something you have time to worry about, you're part of the problem, and this is why I'm talking about in this podcast. What's important to you? Okay? If me wearing a red belt when I do a seminar is offensive to you, you're part of the problem. Okay? So there's been some comments about me wearing the red belt. I laugh because what's not on the video is when I say to my students, oh, I'm going to wear the red belt today. It's like seeing the white buffalo. And my black belts laughed. They said, yeah, we've never seen you wear a red belt. And I said, oh, I'm wearing it because it's going to piss off a bunch of people on YouTube. Oh, look at that. Was I correct? Yeah. Why? Because you don't understand what's important. So what's important is family. Family has to come first. If you put martial arts before family, you're going to have a problem. And believe me, I know many martial arts people that put martial arts before family. They all have problems. All of them. There's not a one that doesn't. And someone I know once said, senior teacher, she said to me, my wife, martial arts is a tough mistress. And it is. Like me, I have the most understanding wife on the planet. I'm getting on a plane. I'm going here to teach. I'm going there to teach. I got to go out. I just came out here to film this podcast, okay? And my wife is crazy understanding. However, when I had the dojo in New York and I had a lot of help, right? My kids had a baseball game. I was going. One of the other black belts knew they had to cover. Okay. If we were doing a family vacation and someone said to me, oh, we got nobody to cover the one day you're gone. Okay, the dojo was shut down that day. It's as simple as that. Okay. Because again, family comes first. You know, I have to go up to parents, teachers. I'm going up to parent, teachers. Someone else is teaching that night. Okay. Now it's my grandkids, right? So now maybe on a Saturday, I have to rush out really quick, or I cut the one class short so I can make it to my grandson's game, whatever game it is. Okay. You know, I can't make all of them, but I try to make a lot. But again, with my own kids, I was there for virtually everyone. You know, I mean, unless something came up or there was something going on, that was what was important to me. You know, I also had a real job for 22 years, and I was initially obviously called police officer, and then after that I was called detective. All right. And, you know, again, those are great titles. Some people would think they're pretty important. You know, I used to joke and say, when I got promoted to detective, I got a certificate and I got a raise. In the martial arts, I get promoted, I pay, and I don't get a raise, right? But that's okay, because I'm supporting the association, I'm supporting my various teachers, I have no problem with that. But I'm just saying, it's a very different animal, right? And what was important to me back then was, obviously my police job was important. And, you know, if it's on a certain day where I know, you know, oh, they really need me at the dojo tonight because we only have one guy coming down to help. All right, but then a crime happens and I catch the guy. Okay, now I have an arrest. Guess what? I'm not getting to the dojo that day. And same thing, sometimes my family had to suffer because I had to do something at work. So what am I going to do? I'm going to close my eyes? I mean, my children understood what I did was important. You know, my kids would always be saying, Dad, you got some bad guys? Is that why? That's why you couldn't get to the game? You got some bad guys, right? And I'd say, yeah, I caught some bad guys. So there were many things in my life that were important. The martial arts falls into that category, of course. But again, I don't put it above my family. I didn't put it above my job when I was working. I couldn't because I'm earning a living. All right. Even though I had the dojo is not a moneymaker. I couldn't quit my police job and live off the dojo. I'd be in the poorhouse. I'd lose my house. Okay. You know, so this idea that what we do is so important and everybody should recognize the importance of what we do. It's just ridiculous. I mean, listen to yourself. We put on gis, we put on belts, we go out, we swing weapons, we have fun at it, we like it, we enjoy it. Yeah, if you're doing it like I do, where it's for self-protection and not tournaments, okay, we take it a little more serious, we train in a little different way. But you know what? If you're doing it for tournaments and you enjoy that, that's great. But if you're a black belt or an older guy and you decide you want to go to this tournament, but that weekend there's a family thing and you should really be at that, and you decide to go to the tournament, you have a problem. You 100% have a problem. Okay? So please try to keep things in perspective. Okay? I love the martial arts. I mean, my God, I love them. Okay? You know, I'm training, I'm reading, I'm making videos, I'm doing this podcast, right? Good or bad, you like it, you don't. I'm doing it, right? Maybe eventually I won't, but right now I'm still doing it, all right? Still looking for subjects. I've got some other ones lined up, but if you have an idea you want me to do for one, please let me know. You know, but don't take yourself so serious, all right? You know, I try not to. I try to joke in my seminars. I try to keep it light, especially sometimes we're talking about heavy subjects in terms of certain self-defense things, certain techniques that are highly, extremely dangerous. The fact that, you know, you may have to be called upon to seriously hurt or maim or kill another human being in the defense of your life or in saving someone else. You know, these are heavy subjects. But, you know, try to joke around. You know, police officers are famous for their dark humor. Okay, and sometimes people don't understand. That's what keeps them sane. All right, when you see how bad things are out there, You have to find a release valve to keep yourself sane. And, you know, being a police officer, there's a lot of similarities with martial arts. And what I mean by that is a lot of police officers fall into the trap of living the cop lifestyle. It's 24/7. Like they go home, right? They do this, they do that. They can't wait to get back to work. And their whole thing is, you know, they make sure all their friends know they're cops. They make sure everybody around them, you know, it's just, it becomes like that's their thing. And that's why a lot of them have trouble retiring. And that's why a lot of them, when they retire, they don't know what to do with themselves. And I tell people all the time, get hobbies. I tell cops I retire with, get hobbies. Find something, think about something you always wanted to do. Play an instrument, bowl, whatever. Do something that you can start the next phase of your life and enjoy the rest of your life. All right. And, you know, that leads me to another thing. You know, with martial arts people, we kind of hear sometimes that they're retiring. Okay. I'm never retiring. I'm retiring when you throw the dirt on me. I'm just not. I'm going to keep going. Master Shimabuku is 85 years old. He's still teaching and going strong. My sword sensei, Sugino Yukihiro, is 85 years old. He teaches 5 days a week. 5 days a week. Okay? So, you don't stop. You keep going. Martial arts is an elixir for a long, healthy life. But keep it in perspective. All right? Don't think you're important. I mean, we're teaching martial arts, okay? We're not solving world peace. We're not curing cancer. I wish we were, all right? But we're teaching martial arts. It's great. Like in my case, the headmaster promotes me to 9th degree black belt, Hanshi. Oh my God. Well, you know, that's great. To me, I look at it as it's more responsibility, right? And, you know, one of the things I say all the time is when I got promoted to 9th degree, did I automatically get any better? Like, was it some magic certificate that I touched it? Did it all of a sudden make me a better person? Did it all of a sudden make me more important? The funny thing is, to some people it did. I always find it funny how when I was a Godan, certain people would barely look at me, right? Then I became, you know, 7th, 8th Dan. Now all of a sudden they want to talk to me. Now all of a sudden they want to, you know, be friends. Why couldn't we be friends before? Oh, because I wasn't a high enough Dan rank? Like, you know, I talk to everybody. I like to talk to people. You know, when I go to the IWK World Championships, especially the last several, you know, a lot of young black belts and young students will come up to me and say, "Excuse me, are you Sensei Calandra?" "Yeah. Hi, how you doing?" "Good." "I just want to say I love your videos. I used your videos to get ready for the tournament." "Good, I'm glad. How'd you do?" "Oh, I took 2nd place." "Great." Like, I'm thrilled for those people, right? And I appreciate that they like my videos. And it's okay if you don't like them. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't matter, you know? So please, don't take yourself so serious. Take a step back. Think about what's important. What's important, okay? There's a lot of things that are important. And martial arts, if you're a martial artist, of course it's going to be important. But understand there's other things that are more important. Your family's more important. Your health's more important. Your job is probably more important because it puts food on your table. So just understand, okay, that, you know, have a spot for martial arts. And like I said, they are important. But keep in mind, there's other things that are more important. All right? Hope you like this one. Just something I wanted to talk about. You know, I think it's important. If you like it, please click that like button, share. All right? If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. Consider becoming a member. All right? You know, tell your friends, pass the word along. Hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Take care.